Oh, looks like we got some viewers. How long till 10:30? Oh my God, Adam. So Adam's been doing that since Cloudy had his stream on or sorry, he had his server back in the day, the Cloudy server. Adam would come in and he'd say 10:30 is coming. So that guy's been doing that forever. A funny guy. I mean, there's definitely something to it, right? Like every period has its own thing. Uh, that's why I was saying, oh, a period is ending. Watch out for some mean reversion, and then you got your 10, 15 points of mean reversion. Uh, it's just the market tends to operate in 30-minute periods, and especially when you're so sold off, right? Like you're just this thing. Where's the open? Here's the open. Like this thing just linearly sold off. I managed to get a short in at 25.50 up here. Got up for five. So that was a nice one. Uh, I'm out of the swing long. I got out at 37. Did I post it? I think I posted that I flattened it. Yeah, I flattened it at oh 08. I'll enter again if we break the high of the day because I think that we go and fill the gap at least, and that'll give me an opportunity to move my stop to break even or something. Um, right now, though, as long as we're staying below 12, I don't really see how you could get long. 12 was our gap close, 1175 if you want to be precise on it. So 1175 was our gap close, and I want to see us accept above it. We sold off pretty much right off of RTH VWAP. It's at 37, maybe at the time it was at 37.16, something like that. 15 half. Good morning, Matthew. So as long as we can't get above that 1175, that original gap close, it's kind of hard to justify taking longs here. Right now we're just auctioning between the low of the day and that little spike up there at 16ish, 15, 16. Um, kind of interesting. What I was looking at is weekly value area low is now down at a 3800ish, 3802 maybe. I've started keeping a running tab on that. Just I find it interesting for planning out the day. Um, so you got that weekly value area low at 3801. Dude, weekly VWAP is at 3844, which is like 140. I thought that was monthly VWAP when I was looking at my screen. I was like, what the fuck is this monthly VWAP? Monthly VWAP is even higher, I think. I think it's at like 39 something. I'm just getting a bunch of equity alerts. Yeah, monthly VWAP is at 39.26. Quarterly is at 4,000. So honestly, what I think is if they manage to hold this 3,700 area, and if we get above the high of the day, we should get a ramp for next week. Next week is not only end of month, which is usually when you get a ramp. You can go ahead, you can look at the historical data if you want. Even when shit looks really ugly, it's usually, typically, a ramp. End of quarter is usually a mega ramp. I see I've been I go on the Twitter tubes here and there, and people have been commenting on inflows and outflows and this and that. I don't know. Like that stuff starts to get too complicated to me. I just look at on average what happens, and on average, you do get a ramp. I got out at oh 08, so I was in around kind of like I think 30 or something or 25. I was in around 25 or 30. I entered half the position because I had a feeling this might happen. I entered half the position. I got out at like oh 08 or 10 or something. When I saw us like failing to bounce after closing the gap. I'll re-enter with full size at a 37. If we break the high of the day, if we break the high of the day, I'll enter with full size with a stop below the low, and that'll be my last shot at this. I'm not a great. I've never been a swing trader. I'm a day trader. I just have a really. I've got a pretty good idea of the swing time frames, as you've seen from the plans. The plans do pretty well. Like I shorted 24 half, so I'm definitely a better day trader than I am swing trader. It's right. Like anyone can make a plan, right? Let me. I'm sitting here in my fucking underwear. Let me put on some clothes. I saw where the market was trading in the morning, and I was like, I just got to start looking at the screens. Give me a second here. So watch to see if this can get over 37.12. If it can, we might start running. Yeah, exactly. I was getting ready for the OnlyFans. All right, there you can look how much volume is being done at 37.12, right? So if this breaks, if they break that, this should pop pop pop. Let's see. They're fighting to hold it down. So in general, if we hold this 3700 area, I think we'll have generally a trend up towards 3760, the gap close, 63 half, or whatever. Yesterday's close at 71 quarter. So in general, I think we'll have that trend up. However, because breadth is so shitty and we've broken such major structure, you're probably looking at great short opportunities as we come down, as we go up. So it won't be just a linear climb. There we go. See, we're getting the pops. See that? Pop, pop. Let's see if they can break that high, that 16 area. Remember what I was saying? So we made this low, made this high, and I said we're auctioning. So that's the auction. So now you want to see if from the result of this auction that's taking place, can we crack this high, this 16, 17 high. If you break this high, we'd look for what the POC was in this area. And that's where the entry would be for a long. That is, if you wanted to take a long, right? So far, we can't break the high, so I would not be looking for a long yet. But you want to see what you're essentially seeing is here's a very mini resistance, right? Here's your mini resistance. Here's your mini support intraday. Intraday support, intraday resistance. Here's an auction taking place. You can only justify going long after resistance is broken, right? It's not complicated. Here's a low, here's a high, here's an auction. So far, the auction hasn't told you, hasn't justified going long. I think that was another set, yeah. RTH VWAP's at 14 quarter right now. This is the full session, 24 hour. we're just auctioning here. Now look at the deltas for the past 30 minutes. When I said watch out for a reversal, there you go, right? The market operates in periods, so that's B period. And interesting, was all of B inside of A? Let me just go to my thingamadingy. No. Wait. No, it wasn't. B looked a little bit below. Typically, when B period is inside of A's range, it just makes for some choppy action. It's just telling you that, you know, the range is tight. Yeah, I don't know if this stream thing is going to be every day. It's just kind of whenever I feel like it. So right now, the reason I'm streaming lately is because I'm playing with a new system where I create the plan the night before, and my levels are all made the night before. I kind of monkey with the levels just a little bit, maybe like within a few ticks, based off how Globex traded. Like I had 23.75, and then I turned it into 23.50. Maybe 23.75 was the better number today, technically. But anyway, I just kind of monkey with the numbers just a little bit, and then I simply set limit orders. I don't even uh, I just set limit orders now. So there you go. That auction is. It looks like it's failing. If the auction was for an upside break, you did not get that break. So right now there would not be a long. The epoch of that auction was at 37.0850, and there you go. That's where you can see the volumes coming in at 0850, right around there. These are 2 ticks per row. So now what I would be looking for is to see if there are trapped longs here at 0850 as a result of this auction. I want to see if these guys are trapped. Guy on our chat, on your chat. Now, if this is really trapped longs, they should liquidate when we break kind of this low. It's 37.05. So a lot of what I pay attention to when I am looking at footprint and trading with intra-day information is looking at these swing lows and swing highs and then thinking where the auction is taking place. Because the market is constantly in a position of establishing highs and lows and then balancing, if you want to call it that. It's balancing, and you can look at this on a 1 minute time frame, an hourly time frame, a 1 second time frame, and you'll see it establishes a high and a low, and it auctions in between. Right now, that's taking place. It's 575.6, 575 to 6, right? Just repeatedly hitting back and forth. That's an auction. Okay, the auction result is you hit 650. Now it's backfilling, or it's deciding if it's going to continue off of that, right? So it's just there's on very, very small time frames. It's constantly auctioning and making a decision, auctioning and making a decision. You'll go fucking nuts trying to think of it in a 1 second time frame. So I don't. But what I look for a lot of the time, these are 3 minute bars. I look to see how the POC is being reacted to. So right now you can see we can't get over this volume that was done around 0708. We can't get above that volume, but we're holding this swing low. So right now you have an auction taking place between this low and this POC, right? It's auctioning. And here's the auction POC right now at 06-ish. It's really simple. It's doing a lot of falling. We might not be moving much, which I know is kind of funny. I love when we don't move much after a big day overnight. It's just funny to me. Like yesterday was pretty typical. Yesterday, it's really common for people to expect a huge range after seeing a huge range the day prior. It's just a recency bias, right? So a lot of people yesterday were expecting some, 100-point range yesterday, which is just comical. In reality, usually you have a smaller range the day after a huge dump. And then today you'd look for some sort of continuation. What are you saying, Jesse? If you go to 30-minute, we are in one auction the past two candles. We are in one auction in the past two. We're in one auction in the past two. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, in other words, C is trading inside of B, right? C is auctioning inside of B. Yeah, totally. And then you go to a smaller time frame, you can see other auctions. Exactly. That's the perfect example. This is crazy. It's being held up here at 05. If this breaks the lows, it's gonna freaking snap. Now, every time we test this POC here, this POC at 0708, every time we test this, it's going to get weaker and weaker. Just the same idea as every time you test resistance, it gets weaker and weaker. There we go, see? And now it's breaking. We came to this volume. So if you're trading intraday off of intraday information, knowing where the high volume spots are is so key. There we go. See? Now it's popping. I'd be surprised if I'd be surprised if we can't take out that 16, 17 area now again. Notice the pox are building higher on each bar, which is usually productive for longs. Usually. This is usually productive that you have volume filling out throughout the profile. If it was just a thin one, like this during the news that ran up to 64.5, if it's just a thin move up, it's indicative of short covering, right? Whereas once you start getting these thicker profiles, like you're seeing here, here, right, here as well, that's usually indicative of more initiative buying taking place. It's not just a thin short cover rip. That's why a lot of people will look at volume at time on a higher time frame chart. They might say, oh, this rally had no volume to it. It's essentially saying the same thing as what we're looking at with the volume at price, except they're just talking about time instead. But it's the same idea, is that as prices were moving up, there wasn't much volume being traded. And that's typically what you'll get during a short covering. And that's why the market is falling apart so easily, because all the rips upwards are just short cover rips. Interesting to note the auctions at the lows are not finishing. Unfinished, unfinished, unfinished. That one finished. These two did not. Whereas the auctions at the highs are mostly finishing, right? There you go. See, volume keeps moving higher and higher. There we go. Now let's see if it can run the stops. We should have stops from shorts who are in here at 10, 11. If it can run them, we should be able to get this volume at 14. So a lot of the footprint stuff I find is not very helpful for actually hitting a trade based off of, just because it's so low time frame, it's very unreliable. However, it is good for creating a narrative, which you can use for your daily plan for the next day. Or if you have a higher time frame level, it can give you an idea if you should be hitting it. You can build a narrative based off of all of this action today using the footprint, and then you can think to yourself, okay, do I want to short 24 if it gets up there? Right? The footprint can help you create a larger narrative. However, I wouldn't use it for you can if you want, right? You can use it for taking tiny scalp, 1-point moves, 2-point moves, but it's probably best to avoid it. To me, you want to always be relying on the highest time frame information. My 2350 short was based off of the July low of the month being at 23.75. it's also a balance low that we repeatedly kind of held right around that 23 to 19 area, I think, if I recall correctly. I can't recommend Tricky enough on Twitter. It's Tricky_OW, his Twitter. Let me see if I can post his handle. This guy's awesome. I'm gonna put him in the resources. This dude's great. The way he trades is I really like it. I threw that in the resources tab as well. Sorry guys, just typing in that, trying to help someone out here. So essentially, what they're asking is kind of take profits and stuff like that, and something that I think is really important. And this is probably going to flush right here. This is fucking crazy absorption, but it looks like it's going to flush. When you're taking profits, right? I only took 5 points out of that 23 half short. There was a good probability we break the low of the day. However, if you think something can go for 20 points, let's say you think there's a 70% probability it can go for 20 points. Why not take the majority of your position off at 10 points? And then there's a 90% probability that gets hit. You know what I mean? And then if you're a runners guy, then you can add your runners for 20 points, 20, 25, with your stop at 10. It's just a way of increasing your win rate incredibly. God damn, I'm hungry. There we go. We finally got a breaker of '05. Now, usually you'd have continuation to the downside after trapping so many longs. I don't know if it was one guy or a million guys who were holding this thing up, but as you can see by the delta, this thing should flush. If I was a breakout trader, that's your breakout trade to the downside. Wow. Back over '05. Messy spaghetti. Glad I'm not trying to trade this off of the footy print. Now you see why I don't like using a footprint for intraday trading for MGI based trading. I find it's just a little bit too unreliable. Yeah, sellers gave that up really easily, Tyler. Sorry, message in the Discord. Oh, nice. My friend shorted 1375 for 5. Nice. Him and his dad both, they both just use a 5 stop and 5 take profit on all their trades, which is it's interesting. Does anyone have anything at '05? Do any of you guys have anything at '05? This '02, '04, '05 area? I don't think I have. Okay, I kind of. No, not at '02 or '05. I don't have anything. And now it's rip and stops. Whenever you see a lot of zeros or like no volume, it's just skipping. That's indicative of stops being ripped. If you're wondering what that means, just people. Oh, I see. Globex did a huge pump from this area back in June. C period ending in a couple minutes. Jesse, are you still here? So we traded just below B period. Just below. We flashed below. Low, high, new low. Now where was that POC? New, low, high, new low. Right? Interesting. The POC was at 07 quarter. Whoa, it's Leslie in Denver. Oh my god. Waffles, I'm never going to stop finding that funny. Leslie in Denver. Leslie in Denver sounds like you should be on a not a podcast, a news station. I could see you being a news broadcaster. I could see that. This is Leslie in Denver with the Colorado Times. I don't think you'd be a weather person. I think you'd be I think you'd be like the hard hitting. You'd be like, we're here with a hard hitting news item today. You know. I'm reading your messages in the Discord. If anyone's wondering who Leslie in Denver is Waffles in Discord, and the Discord link is in my description. It's free. It's free. I should probably add that in the description box. Hold on. Let me see if I can do that for you guys. Live trading room. Free. That'd probably make this a little bit more enticing for people. There we go. Yeah, I could see you doing it. I could see you being a news reporter. There we go. That edit worked nicely. Sweet. Back into the lows again. This is an ugly, ugly tape. So, in general, I wouldn't want to be trading between this kind of low of the day to 37.17 area. This is really gross. We spent an entire period pretty much inside of... we spent all of C period pretty much inside of B. That's fucking gross. And B period was barely outside of A, which is also gross. Now, when this finally commits to a direction, it should have some oomph with it, right? The idea being will be that you have 2 periods worth of inventory above you. So now we're getting into D period. D period is usually when you start to see the ES trend, and it's just Euro traders trying to really either they're going to cover their short positions. I don't think you have to be a fucking genius to figure out the Euros are short today. So either they're going to cover and cause a really big short cover rally, or they're going to double down on their positions and slam this thing down. Probably to 36.75. That's been the spot I've been talking about all day today, right? If this works, if I can show you guys my screen, my other screen. Oh boy, come on, buddy. Nope. Yes, yay! Look at that. I think that's the right screen. Yeah, cool. That's the level we've had all day, right? There we go. It was this wide zone, and I wrote I'm not interested in trading below it. Maybe I should have had another line around 17-ish. Yeah, that's from Globex, right? Is that that's the overnight. 15. How did that react on a 1 minute? 15. So our stop would be 13, 12. Yeah, I'm happy with my decision. Go back to the RTH. So all day the plan has been for for these levels below: 36.75, 36.52.50, and 36.42 and 39. So all that is there's a weekly POC and close right around 74.75. So it just chose 36.75. 52 half is the 2021 low of the year. 42, I think, is Q2 value area low, or it's like June value area low. I don't know, some big value area low, and then obviously 36.39 is our low of the year. I would not be trying to fucking catch knives there, okay? Especially around that 52 and lower area. There's a good chance what happens is they fuck everyone's stops to the downside. If they don't hold, let me put it this way: if they don't hold the 75 area, there's a good chance this thing knifes, runs everyone's stops to something like 36.20-ish. If it does go up, it'll reverse hard up and fuck everyone's short stops. Realistically, what I would expect is screwing everyone's long stops and then getting either shorted off of 39 or 52. I think once you get above 75, this thing's going to start moving on up again. But in general, for now, what I'm looking at is a move down to 75. The levels did pretty nicely overnight as well. So there's that 23 half, right? When it got below it, it was just a shit show to get back over. Once we did, it gave a couple nice trades, but for the most part, a shit show. It gave a nice long in the morning, and then the short's been off there so far. 44 half, 44 quarter, I think, is the 2020 close. So that was nice for a small long if you were a knife catcher, and it couldn't even get back up there. 64 was kind of weird overnight. It's around the overnight low. There's some stuff here around 64 to 70, and I was struggling to come up with a number. Maybe it'll end up being a high time frame number based off this week's action so far by today's close, but for now, it is what it is. Let's get you guys back on the footy print, because I imagine that's more entertaining to watch. Now that we broke the lows, would a short at the POC of that balance region be valid around 08? So I wouldn't be shorting it just because this area seems so I would zoom out a bit, right? Is this Theranos? Is this TW? Is TW Theranos on Discord? Is that you? Oh no, it's TW. I always get you and Theranos confused. Theranos is another guy. Or gal, who knows? Let me just see what you DM'd me before. Were you in JJ's room before? I feel like you were. No, you were not in his room? Or, I guess you're delayed right now. The YouTube stream is delayed. I feel like you were in JJ's room. I don't know, I see you're talking about market profile and stuff. I'll give you 30 seconds to respond in case it is delayed. Oh, okay. So, I was just looking at what you were saying with TPO. Oh, cool. First room. So, I swear I don't get paid for this in any way. JJ is a market maker who used to work for my dad in the 90s. JJ's got a room. I'm surprised I didn't tell you about it in our DMs. Here, I'll send you a. Fuck. The website looks like shit. I'll tell you that much. Actually, here, I'll send you his Twitter. That's probably better, so you can kind of get an idea what he's doing. I'm really surprised I didn't send you it. Oh, fucking hell. I've Yeah, VWAP trader. Yeah. Okay, so you do know him. Yeah, VWAP. His room is really cheap. Uh, Maybe the YouTube videos are sufficient. Um, I don't know. I don't really watch them, but kind of obvious. I've got free access to his room. I don't really watch it because I don't really have a need for it. But he does a live stream every morning from 9:30 to 11, and it's just because I see in our DMs you're talking about TPOs and market profile stuff. It's a really great way to get an idea of how he's looking at things. And then I think he does like an educational webinar once or twice a week. I don't remember. He does a Globex session. Now that he's in London, he also does a Globex session at whatever it is, like 1 a.m. Our time. I can't remember. Oh, that's cool. First guy you followed on FinTwit. Are you in his room, Matt? He's a super nice guy. Super nice guy. Really nice dude. Yeah, Confessions of an MM. He super nice guy. So he was my dad's MM, and then my friend who I met in elementary school when I was, I don't know, 6, 7 years old. His dad was also an MM, and him and JJ knew each other. And then I learned like a year ago that him and my dad also knew each other. My childhood friends. I just thought my dad knew him as my friend's dad. I didn't realize he knew him as a market maker back in the 90s. It was funny. Uh, okay, you're not in his room. No problem. I think it's like $30 a month or something. It's really cheap. That's why, like, whenever someone wants to learn about market profile, that's why I'm so surprised I didn't send you a message on it. Because whenever someone wants to learn about market profile, I'm always just thinking, why the fuck do you want to spend, hours watching or trying to find content yourself, and you can just bother JJ about it. I find it a pain in the ass to do what he does. Whereas teaching, because he teaches rank novices, right? Like TW, I know you have an idea what you're doing and stuff like that, but he's just, I find it so frustrating. Like I don't mind helping people like you who have an idea of what they're kind of doing, because like I can get across some terms and like you've got an idea as to what you're looking at. Whereas when you're talking to a rank novice, like you ought to explain like, oh, this is what a short is. This is what a long is. And you're like, oh god, do I really want to explain this? Yeah, the streams are cool. The streams are cool. It's yeah, from oh no, it's not 9:30 to 11. He starts it at 9, I think. From 9 to 11. He shares his screen. They're recorded, I'm pretty sure. It's just, and I think for $30 you might also get access to the equity side. So he doesn't do the equity side, some other guy does. I think his name's All Day Ray on Twitter or something. All Day X Ray. All I don't know. Those guys, they don't use the TPOs, right? They do more so kind of the trend line, moving averagey kind of stuff, which I get because stocks do really well when you start looking at trend lines and moving averages and stuff like that. Stocks tend to trend a lot better than ES. ES is this choppy piece of shit that you were looking at right now. Sorry, I got really distracted. I don't even remember what your first question was. Now, all right, now that we broke lows, would have shorted the POC be right? So uh, I remember why I started thinking of TPOs because I was going to talk in terms of TPOs. Where so D period right now. So let's just think about the day on a bigger time frame, right? Let me move my screen. Let me share the candlestick chart. Oops. See, sometimes when I switch screens, it just goes black. I don't know if it just needs time to load or if it's just like flat out dead. Oops. Okay, you should be able to see my screen. So just think of this really simply, right? Let's throw in a 30-minute chart and let's kill all the lines. Let's think about this, right? We closed somewhere around 70-ish. Globex. Yeah, where's the Globex open? Here-ish. Here's Globex. Euros, short it down, short it down, short it down, short it down. This looks like some covering here. How much covering? Not sure. So we get a big gap down, short, 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 little bit of covering, right? But mostly short. And now look at this. If we go to the RTH, so it's easy to see. So in general, people are short. Look at this. You have B, which is pretty much, you have C period, which is inside of B. B barely broke A. And now you got D, which is pretty much inside of C, right? Like, you're dealing with this fucking choppy bullshit here. And Europe is closing in about 15 minutes is when the majority, you can think of 11:30 as like their 4 p.m. And then, the market kind of runs for another 15 minutes more or less, but the majority of their shit is flat by 11:30 our time, 11:30 Eastern. So now you have to think to yourself, are euros going to pump this thing? Are they going to short cover and pump it? Or are they going to dump it? So just again, zoom out for a second. Not only are people offside from this huge gap down, this move, right? Like in general, the market's almost at the yearly lows, right? So people are offside in general. Then you have this choppy bullshit, and then you combine it with being 15 minutes to the start of E period. So to me personally, me myself, I think of it as let's either get towards this 75 area and then I can start looking for trades, or let's break this 23, 25 area and then again I can start looking for trades. In the meantime, to me, maybe you can scalp inside of here, but to me it's a bullshit area. That's my alarm going off. E period closes in 15. So do you get what I'm saying? In general, it's just such a bullshit area right now that I don't know, maybe you could have shorted it. 08, the high's 12-ish. I don't know. It looks like it went for 1R so far. If you placed your stop at 12 and took profit at 4. But to me, there's no trade. To me, my style. To you, maybe it's a great trade. Whatever works, works. Look at me. Now I can't get it back on the fucking... There we go. DW is a great friend. Yeah, I looked at I think I DM'd him and I think he said he's stopping his room or whatever. But he posts some nice stuff. I saw a post from him today, and it's funny. If you look at one of my, I can't remember which video it was. Maybe it was the weekly Outlook video. Today he posted something being like, oh, he highlighted the pre-COVID high and then like that kind of really whiplashy wide action on the weekly, which is an auction. It's a huge auction. And he highlighted that and he's like, this zone in general is something I'm looking at. And I was like, that's exactly the fucking thing I've been looking at for months. Yeah, Rayho's Confessions. Yeah. AXK, I'm afraid of the dark. What? Here's the thing, right? Like, I don't know when you popped in, but what I was saying is that the footprint is awesome for developing a narrative, right? You can really see where people are getting trapped and shorts getting squeezed and this and that. It really is superior to candlesticks like that. To me, the footprint is how you build a narrative. To me, the footprint is how you build a narrative and you get a general idea, in this past hour, roughly hour of trading, it's been nice for getting a general narrative, right? Because I can see we're still doing a volume on either side. It's not like the volume is dead. I can see we're trapping people at the low still. We're getting wild short covery action. Like, shit is happening inside of here. So it's building me a higher time frame thesis that I can then use to be like, okay, maybe I do want to short 24 and, maybe that's a 10-point trade and maybe you think it's really going to go for 20, right? But this is very tempting. The footprint is it's like a flirty girl. It's the most tempting thing in the world because you can see what's happening every millisecond, right? You can be like, oh, okay, volume's building on the bid. Okay, this is gonna fucking slam down. It's very tempting, but you have to be. So what happens is I have my what you're looking at right now is right in front of me on my center screen. To my right is just it's that chart I keep pulling up that chart with the zones on it, and that is mostly what I look at. Like this is just it's entertaining to watch. The center, it's fun. To my top right is just Discord. To my left, I'm looking at a. Sometimes I show you guys that crazy structure chart, with all like the fucking 4,000 levels in it. I've got those guys off to the left, which I don't even look at. I glance at it here or there. Just I find it kind of neat. Like right now, 1175 is that June 17th high, and that's where we keep rejecting. 3700 half is a value area high from I don't know, probably June 17, and that's where our low of the day is. So I like to look at what structure is looking like. I don't really watch those screens though. Yeah, right. So Axia has some really good stuff. And here I'll share with you a Discord. Here. This has more info than you'll ever be able to absorb. Yeah, the weekend starts in a few hours. Have fun. Trust me, you're not going to be complaining about limited info after you're in there. I don't know if Adam Sett's course is in there, but if it is, I've heard it's good. Trust me, I don't know if he requires some sort of access to get in there. I have him in it. He's in the Merc as well. He hops in here and there. So Jordy's really young. Jordy's like 18 or something, or maybe even younger. He's really young, and so is I think so is his buddy. Yeah, okay, you're in there. Uh, Jordy's really young. He trades off the Dom. He's really into the order flow stuff, and I think it is possible. If you're like Jordy and you read every fucking thing that's out there, I think it's possible. To me, it's stressful. Yeah, you're gonna go in that Discord and then just cry at trying to figure out how to fucking read everything. I don't even look at it anymore. It's too goddamn confusing. Who's Rodolfo? Hi, bro. Oh, Jorge's buddy. Hey, dude. Ugh. So it looks like we're getting that covering into the Euro close. Let's see if they can pop it up to VWAP, right? Yeah, there's a lot of info in there. I wouldn't even send that to most people just because it's so. Why are you talking about calzones? Why are you making me hungry? Talk about calzones. I'm on a fucking diet, all right? It's funny. So I started walking 10,000 steps a day. I went from being my diet was kind of stalling at like 6,000 steps and 2,000 calories. It was mostly not going anywhere. I ramped it by 4,000 steps, and I'm losing 2 pounds a week now. And I added 500 calories. I don't need like my body always has been disproportionate with with how much steps seem to help. It's hilarious. I'm gonna start swimming pretty soon. Once I start swimming, then I think I can really start eating and still lose weight. So that'll be fun. What is happening in the Discord? Data feed, blah, blah, blah. Looks like Dom is saying they're... looks like Dom is saying... Omni's fresh. Oh, fuck. I see what you guys are laughing about now. Oh, fuck. Dom always has the funniest memes. Rodolfo, are you in the stream? Just type in the stream if you are, and then I'll chat to you. There we go. See, this is that Euro cover I was talking about. So usually around 11:15 is when you start to see a trend build. So 5 minutes to close. Oh, okay, you're here. So Rodolfo, I was just telling the stream that so someone who worked with my dad in the markets back in the 90s, he was a market maker. I don't know if you know what that is. I'm not sure what your experience level is. He has a room that you can pay for. It's $30, I think US a month. So, which is probably the cheapest you're going to get. He does a live stream every morning where you can ask questions, and he explains the market, the way a market truly acts. Because he was making a market, and if you don't know what that is, he will explain it to you. Here's his Twitter handle. Let me just give it to you. So I'm going to send you his Twitter handle in Discord. So there you go. That's his link. So you can look at his charts or whatever, and they might not make a lot of sense, but if you join his room, the link is in his bio. I think it's $30 or something. Let's see, how much is it? Click here to register. It's $39 a month, and that's if you're doing month to month. So you can leave after a month if you want, which is quite cheap. So he teaches I would say novices to people who are kind of intermediate, mostly. So if that's what stage you're at, I'm not sure what stage you're at, but if that's what stage you're at, I would really recommend that. Because the stuff I'm showing is probably not going to make a ton of sense right now. It's kind of on the backbone of that stuff he teaches. That's what I would recommend. Because you asked about where you could learn stuff. Hey, Sammy. How you doing? Sure. I will if you say please. Just long no 4 on the initial test. Nice one. Uh, did I learn with him? Yeah, I'm in his room for free because he was my dad's buddy. Uh, but he taught me pretty much the basis for how I trade. VWAP trader, Sammy. He taught me kind of the basis for how I trade and how just it's just how markets work. So Rodolfo, again, I don't know how new you are, but okay, some experience. So I don't know how like online on YouTube. There's a lot of just like, oh, if this makes this shape, that's what it's doing. Blah blah blah, and it's just the market doesn't. It's not like the hedge fund sees, oh, this is making a wedge. Like I'm gonna short it. That's not how fucking markets work, right? Markets work through supply and demand, and other pieces of market structure, which is how I create these plans, right? That's how. I'm trying to get an idea, give you an idea. That's how I had an idea that last week's RTH high would be at 41.37. I was 3 ticks off, less than a point. I had weekly support at 38.57. I was 3.5 points off. It's not because I'm a genius. I didn't even pass grade 12 math. I'm an idiot. I'm not a smart, I'm not a smart guy. It's just it's just understanding how a market works. That's all it is. Oh, that's cool, Sammy. Good to hear you did well with it. Uh, See, that's your problem, Rodolfo. You're thinking of the market as a method. There's no method. Oh, nice to see that we got more people I guess, from JJ's room in here. See, Rodolfo, there's no, there's no one method, okay? Yeah, so Rodolfo, he does not courses. He does like live seminars for absolute beginners. I would really, again, I don't get paid for this. Like, I don't know, you can do whatever you want. You can look at his stuff on Twitter, or TW has looked at his stuff on YouTube, right? You can do whatever you want, but what you just have to understand, and the reason why I can make a plan here. Let's pull this up. Let's pull this up. Let's show my other screen here if it works. Doesn't work, then you're fucked. Here we go. There we go. Sorry, a little bit of inception there. Yeah, that's a Lumber's future alert going off. Uh, Here, this is from September 5th. Okay, take this all off. On September 5th, I was with Jorge. I was in Mexico. September, I was in Mexico and I was creating plans. So anyway, this might have been when I just got home. So the market was selling off, right? It looked like this. Looked like dog shit. And if you look at my Twitter, you can go back, or you can look at the O Mini in the Merc. You can look at the posts that are in there. If you go back to September 5th, this entire week that we were selling off, I kept saying we're going to sell off to this 39.20, 39.10 area, and then we're going to get a huge move up to 41.37. I was saying we'll probably move to 41.37 to kind of 4,200-ish, and then we're going to shit the bed. Then we're going to catch a small bounce at 38.57, and then we're going to shit the bed. Here, this is from September 5th. Very simple. I wrote, look, we get over this white line here, the pivot, we're going to look for this area, T2 to T3, this 41.37 to 4,200-ish area. Then we're going to go back below the pivot. Look what happened, below. Then I said the bulls are going to hold it at 38.57. It's just going to be temporarily held. and then we're going to shit our pants. Now that we're below 38.57, we probably won't get above this area, this 40.50, for the rest of the year. And we're probably heading to a new low of the year once we broke that 38.57. And again, it's not because I'm a genius, right? And it's not, and you don't want to think of this as a method. It's not a method, right? It's just the way a market works. A market, trading, trading futures, trading anything. Hey, Eric, I'm pretty much shilling JJ right now. Trading a market like this is the exact same thing as, as selling chickens, as selling and buying chickens. It's the same thing. When we were, here's what happened. Here's why I said 41.37. In August, the most volume, right? The place where all the volume was done was at 41.37. So when we sell off, what do you think happens to all the people who were buying at 41.37? They're fucked. They're fucked. People who bought at 41.37, they're fucked. Sold off, they're fucked. So the people, when we come back to 41.37, the people who bought here, they're going to go, oh shit, thank God, I can finally get out of my long position. So what are they going to do? They're going to sell. They're going to sell their long positions to get out of their long positions. So the market sells off. Why was I saying we're going to fucking rip upwards at 3,900-ish? It was because the market, if you looked at the market internals, if you looked at market breadth, which is just a fancy way of saying, if you looked at just how stocks were doing, stocks were down a fuck ton. They were down more, they were down the most they've been down in terms of momentum the entire year. So what I'm looking for are for these guys who are selling, other guys who are selling, I'm looking for them to cover their shorts. And when they're covering their short positions, they have to buy, which causes a short squeeze. That's why this move was so linear. It's just a short squeeze. So it short squeezes up. These guys who were fucked on their longs, they sell out of their longs. And then the shorts re-engage their shorts. And then we sell out. What is 38.57? It's the same fucking thing. 38.57 is just the point of control. It's where the most volume was done in July. So what do we know? People who were shorting in July, we know that the position is at 38.57. So once they're done covering their shorts, once they're done buying to exit their shorts, we're going to shit the bed again, which is what's happening. We fucking died again. What is 36.75 on my chart? Guess what? No surprise. It's a weekly POC from this trading here. It's a weekly POC. That's all it is. So, do you get what I mean? All I'm looking at is where buyers and sellers have been. That's all it is. So it's not really a method. It's just, this is where buyers were, this is where sellers were, this is probably what they're going to do. Again, I'm not a fucking genius. Fucking far from it. You get what I mean? Is that making sense, Rodolfo? Sorry, I went on like a rant. I don't mean to be mean. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to... I don't like seeing people get misled. PSP. Interesting. I don't even know who PSP is. Does that make sense, Rodolfo? How you doing, Eric? You get in any trades today? I'm looking at a monthly profile, weekly. I look at daily. You want to see what I'm looking at? Here. Hold on. Before I show this chart, before I show the next chart, remember I just gave you a high of the week within 3 ticks of MAE? Then I gave you a low of the week within 3.5 points, okay? Just before God damn it, Cloudy. But before I show you this crazy chart, just remember I just gave you a high and low of the week within fucking 4 points of error. Okay? Cloudy, I'm gonna show them your favorite chart. How's that? How's that for what I'm looking at? That's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking at. You can bet I'm looking at every single time frame's volume profiles. I'm not saying you have to. I'm definitely not saying you have to. I'm 100% not saying you have to. Here's the same thing, but just with weekly and higher time frame ones. Now, you shouldn't do this. Rodolfo, don't you start, because I have an idea of structure. Because I know what structure is doing. I know how to read structure. That's fine. You don't have to use all these levels. I just find them useful. You know, my level yesterday was 80 quarter. Look at where the POC was yesterday. Let's look where the POC was yesterday. Oh, 80.75. That must just be a coincidence. That Omni's level ended up being the POC of the day. I can reduce all that shit into, you know, that 200-point range or whatever it was. Where's my Twitter? My twatter. I don't know what the fuck is happening here. Let's go to my twatter. Here. In a 100-point range, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels. They did pretty well, I would say. Right? I think it's fine. You can have a trillion levels, and you know what? You'll actually see TW and Rodolfo. You'll see VWAP Trader is the same way. He's got a million levels. It doesn't really matter. His levels don't really matter because what he's really looking at is higher time frame strike. It's subconscious to him, right? Like, look, he's got a lot of levels. One every 7.5 points, I think. But he's able to think in terms of larger term structure. This was pre-market, I think yesterday, right? 22nd? Yeah. We're trading in the spike so far, but anyway, what he was getting at was the market. There you go. So what he was saying is we're trading around that 3830-ish area, and this is the same thing I wrote, which is hilarious, right? What he's essentially saying is, look, we're trading below that kind of first initial spike we got during JPow's talk. During Globex, we were churning around there, remember? We were churning around there during Globex, and it was trading at 3810, yet he said the exact same thing I said, which is, you know what? During RTH, we're probably going to actually come down to the overnight low. To yesterday's low of the day and the overnight low, which was the exact same thing I think I wrote. I saw him post it afterwards and I was laughing. Where was my plan? Here's my plan. Artificial lift in Globex, expecting a heavy day. It's the exact same thing. Exactly, Sammy. When you understand structure and how the market is truly just a fucking market, it's not, people think it's like magic or something. I was a professional magician at one point, so I do know what magic is, but this is not magic. This is just fucking trading. We're trading whatever. You're trading inventory, whatever. It's just moving shit around. Yeah, all he's doing is taking balance areas, right? What he's really doing, TW, is he's really just looking at high time frame structure, and that's how you get like I just showed you, right? Like both of us were looking at so here's what happened. Maybe this will be clearer for you guys. Go to 30 minutes so I can be a now we're looking at TPOs essentially, right? Yeah. So what he was saying was he posted that I think at 5:30 or something or 8:30 Eastern. So we were trading around 38.13. He was saying we're trading below this spike base he would call it. The FOMC kind of spike is what I would call it. We're trading below this. And it was he posted when we're trading here and he said the same thing, which is look for us to crack this low this overnight low. Right? So the levels don't really matter. That's why when you look at it here, pull up any chart. Let's pull up. Look, I got fucking a million alerts today. Let's go to my equities chart. Here, and we'll get rid of all this shit. Okay. Look, we're just on a blank chart. Let's pull up some of my alerts today. I got a lot of them. All I do is the same thing. I'm just looking at what the structure is showing me, right? And I'm setting alerts. I don't need levels to show me where things are. Here I have some fib levels. Oh, look, it's right around my alert. Oh, look. Like, when you understand structure, and I set alerts so that they're a break of structure, but when you set alerts, or when you understand structure, you don't really, levels are great, and trust me, I use levels that are very precise. Usually so precise I don't get a fucking fail. But at the same time, levels are only useful if you're able to understand structure, so you understand when and where to hit them, right? So what JJ does, what VWAP Trader does, he looks at areas he'll be interested in, right? If he knows, if he thinks, look, based on the structure, we're heading to previous day's low, yeah, he'll use the levels to kind of get an idea of like, okay, looks like it's kind of bouncing around here, and then he'll just hit the short, and then he's using the second to second data as to when to get out. That's really what he's doing. But it all starts with an understanding of trade location. It all starts with where is he generally interested in shorting? Where is he generally interested in getting long, right? You know what I mean? Most of these stocks I don't trade. I just keep an eye on them. It'd be nice if Costco gave me my entry at 380-ish. I own a negligible amount right now. Fucking Intel just I like watching Intel just to see it die. I don't even do anything with it. If you guys have questions, you can ask them. I'm just monkeying around here. I see ES is dying off now too, 3690s. So on ES, watch that 3875. Sorry, 3675. I'm getting my 100 point increments incorrect. Cloudy, for the record, I had that level, okay? Pins. What a piece of shit stock. I'm so glad all this fucking garbage is getting shit on. Piece of shit stocks. Hope this all fucking dies. What's Shopify trading at? Good. Die. I love it. I love seeing this liquidation. Do you know how much? Do you know how shitty? Oh God, what's happening in the mark? What are you guys talking about? You guys talking about smoking meth? I skimmed it. What are you talking about? Are you talking about this guy talking about patterns? You can DM me if you want. Uh, you know how much shit I took? You know how bad it felt? I've I I I was given a significant amount of money to run, and you know how shitty it felt seeing stocks go up every day, and I'm just sitting there going, I can't buy this. This is a fucking bullshit market. I'm so glad seeing this get washed out because eventually I will start buying heavily, and it'll be good. It'll be very good. Cloudy, you know why I had it, right? Just that and that. I just took the middle. I was like, this one's 74ish, this one's 75ish. I'm just gonna take the middle. I'm a simple man. Uh, do you know who Robert Dunn is? He preaches trading only the daily, weekly, month. Interesting. Robert Dunn. I've got ES open on 4 other screens. Trust me, I'm seeing what's happening. By the way, is it this guy? It must be this guy. Floor trader at the CME. That's cool. You know how you can tell he's a legit old guy? Because he's got this. A young guy would never have this. Oh, Cloudy, you follow him. Who does he follow? I don't know. Probably his buddies from back in the day. I wish he posted some charts so I could see what he's kind of doing. Well, the other guy, that other market maker, I don't know if you were here when I was talking about it. The other market maker I know, a former market maker I who, there we go. He also just trades sticks, and he was a market maker. I can assure you, he knows how to trade, and he just trades sticks. He doesn't have any fancy software at all. He uses TradingView. He uses TradingView and just looks at sticks. And he likes looking at various breadth measurements. He's the one who got me into the McClellan and watching kind of like the advanced decline and that sort of stuff. That's why I know about it and why I use it. God, cat is dying off, hey? I remember wanting to buy cat at 153 with a former trading partner. Cloudy's gonna laugh at him getting an LBS alert. I'm tracking LBS. This is also, I don't think this is necessary to do where I'm looking at all these markets, but I do think it gives me some sort of edge in understanding where the market is in general. It just gives you an idea of sentiment, right? When you're looking at every sector. I've got 400 alerts almost, 350. Every month or two, I go through the entire S&P and I set some alerts, and then they go off and I set more alerts. And then I have an idea of where the market is. Let me switch you guys over to the motive wave. Oh, come on, piece of shit. There you go. I mean, so here's the thing, right? So I just said that trend lines and shapes and stuff are bullshit. Hold on. I was being a little bit of a cocksucker, okay? Because what is a wedge? What is happening inside of a wedge? Let me just make sure I even know what I'm talking about when I say a wedge. Let me Google trading wedge. Let me make sure I got the shape right, because I never learned the shapes. Okay, yeah. What's happening during a wedge? I guess you would call. Where was it? This was kind of a wedge, right? Yeah, no, it was expanding. Anyway, when you're getting those shapes, let's go with the wedge idea, right? When you're getting that shape, let me share this screen instead. This. Fuck. This. Yes. Okay. Let's go into this. What is actually happening during this? You're covering it like it in cheese or seasoning, sometimes butter. What's happening is buyers ran this thing up, and now it's consolidating inside of a smaller and smaller trading range. Okay? When it's consolidating inside of a trading range, if you were long from down here, you see it make a swing low. You're going to put your stop below the swing low. If you see it make another swing low that's higher, you're going to again try and lock in profits, so you're going to put your stop in here. Eventually, if a size seller comes in and slams this thing, it's going to run this guy's stop, these guys' stops. It's going to run everyone's stops to the downside. Same as if a big buyer came in and they ran everyone's stops who kept moving their sell stops up, right? That's all it is. That's all a wedge is. That's why when people say there's zero value to it, I don't really believe that either. I think there is some value to it, but there's only value in it if you understand what's actually happening, right? There's no value in it if you're just blindly being like, oh, there's a rising wedge. This has to do this. No, it doesn't have to do anything. The market never has to do anything. Okay? So I could see a scenario, Skitcher. I could see a scenario where that guy, whatever his name was, where he only trades it with a bunch of other context in it. Maybe if he sees like a gap up, he does this, or if he sees, breadth is this high, he uses it. Yeah, exactly. You got to put in like a billion hours to make money off of it. Cloudy, I've been enjoying just setting the limit orders and then chilling during the RTH. Good God, I feel like a new man. Exactly. It's using it with just a little bit of context, right? So right now, for example, I'm doing something similar to Cloudy, but not totally. Uh, Essentially, I'm finding levels the night prior, and then I'm establishing it with whether I want to be short or long at that level, and then I'm just waiting for it to break it to the downside. In this example, it was 23 half. So I waited for us to break 23 half, and then I shorted it. And that was it, with a 2.5 point stop. I got 5 points, and then I was done. And I wrote pre-market. I'm not interested in trading below, I think, 37.12 or something like that. I know there's spots at 36.75, at 50 something, blah blah blah. I don't want to deal with it. Price is in exploration mode, if you want to call it that, because we have broken the balance at 37. There was a gap at 10, but the real balance was at 37.20ish. Totally. I mean, that JX guy is definitely, and he's just trading off sticks. That's the other thing. Yeah, Skitcher, sorry, forgot to also comment on that. So intraday information, there is a way to trade it, right? That VWAP guy, for example, JJ uses intraday information, and he knows how to trade. However, he has an idea of the larger the larger context around it, right? Like I can trade off the footprint, but I find it's extremely stressful. You rack up commissions. It's you're going for 4 to 6 tick moves, 4 to 8 tick. Like like it's just I don't like it for me personally. But when you're using higher time frame structure, patterns, levels, whatever, they work so much better. It's the same idea of, if I longed here right now at 96 and I thought, okay, this can move up to 05, why wouldn't I just get out at 00? Why don't I get out at the spot where I think it's going to, at 50% of what I think it's going to go? Doesn't my probability go up way higher? Assuming your trade thesis in general is a good thesis, right? Like when I shorted 23 half, I'm not an idiot. I had a pretty good idea we're going to go make lows of the day. So if we held 23 half, you're not going to crack the open. You're not going up there. You're holding 23 half. You're probably going to go down a good amount. For me, though, I like to just flat. I've told Cloudy this so many times, and I DM'd him earlier today talking about runners. But I took 5 points. I got the fuck out of there. It was a good day. At 2.5, 5 points. Ronnie. Badger's messaging me saying the ramp is closed until further notice. Construction issues. The ramp wasn't built back better. He thought we might ramp it. Sorry, DM. Cloudy. Hey, there you go, buddy. Wait, hold on, let me go to Origin. Which trade did you hit? Oh, I forgot there's even a level there. I didn't even realize where we're trading. I slept like shit the past few nights. You know what happens? I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, oh, what time is it? I check the time and then I go, I wonder what futures are trading at. And then then I start looking at futures. Then I go, I wonder how my level is doing. And then I start looking at my level. And then by then it's like, I try and go to sleep, but I'm just too awake. Nice trade. Nice trade. That NQ one, I don't know. It seemed kind of like I guess you have to call it a loss, but it didn't really seem like a, you know. I'm just reading the Origin chat. Uh, Cloudy runs a server, a paid server, where he posts plans and stuff like that. Or he posts levels, and then he posts how to trade the levels, and it's really simple. It is. I don't think. I don't understand how someone could screw it up. You wait for 2 minutes after the market opens, and then you open a bracket order, and then you just sit there. You literally just sit there. Like literally, you just sit there, and you don't do anything. It's up to you if you want to do it or not. My thing is, and Cloudy knows this, and it's the same thing I'll always say to about other people's services is that even if it works, and I've seen Cloudy stuff work day in day out, he has a live Cloudy. You've got a it's a public track record, isn't it? That's in Origin. I think it's a public Excel sheet that you can see, and it's updated live, and you can go back and look at it. Uh, and there's a money back guarantee, I think, right, Cloudy? I don't know if he's listening. If you go to here's the website. I don't know what the hell is the website. Maybe it's there we go. Yeah, there is a discount. Here's 30% off. Um, oh, cool. Yeah, Cloudy has a public trade log and a money back guarantee. I think Cloudy can. I don't remember. Essentially, I think if you don't make how much is it a month, Cloudy? Like $100 or something? $50? $100? 200? I don't remember what it is. Essentially, I think if you don't make that amount by following their trades, and again, you can't start doing your own stuff. If you don't make that amount by following their stuff, then I think you get your money back. I think. I don't know if that's still the case. Right, Columbia? Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I get what you mean. That's what I was wondering. I was like, isn't there a huge liability issue? But I guess, yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, I get what you mean. It starts screwing everything up. Yeah, exactly. That guy, you too. He was is he has anyone heard from him? Have you? Yeah, you can see. I mean, where's that log? Is it on the website? I think it's on the website somewhere. The website's much better now, Cloudy. I haven't seen him since the 200 MAE trade. Yeah, good God. I've seen the trades work. I mean, Oh, right. I got distracted. So I personally, yeah, exactly. He hasn't had a. There's been no losing months, and it's not like it's hard to go back. Like literally, all they do is cloudy in the morning says 3,700 is a level. Here is the bracket order. Once it gets to 3,700, you're going to be in the trade, and then you just sit there and you wait for either it to stop you out or to give you money. That's it. That's the entire thing. Like it is stupid simple. Very very simple. And I literally I cannot think of a simpler strategy than that. You're not like it's not like, "Oh, this has to cross this trend line and this blah 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 and this moving average has to, no, it's just okay, here's the level, here's the bracket order. You don't have to manage the trade in any way. No, no, no. I think Cloudy, what is it? Like with if you're doing ES and NQ, because he also does NQ now. What is it, Cloudy? Like 4 trades a day, roughly, give or take. Some days, some days yesterday the market didn't really move that much, so I think yesterday might have been 2 or 3. It's almost always at least 1 or 2. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing really he posts live, obviously, but like, there's nothing really to follow. Like, so the night before he posts his levels, right? Yeah, yesterday was 4 trades. What do you mean he doesn't trade ES? Right now, I think it's ES and NQ, so both. Yeah, 4 trades. 4 trades is a lot. No, 4 trades on 2 markets, ES and NQ. That's 2 markets. It happened to be because 4 levels got hit in total, right? I think it was 2 ES trades and 2 NQ trades. It just happened to be 4 levels got hit. If today there were 8 levels that got hit, then it would be 8 trades, right? It just depends on how many. It just depends on how big the range is for the day. Yeah. They're day trades. Yeah, technically, like, I don't know. There's nothing like once you have the levels and you know what the bracket order is set to. There's nothing really like a monkey could operate it at that point. All you got to do is wait 2 minutes after the open and then hit the button. That's it. And then you just wait. See, so what I'm trying to do is sort of copy Cloudy these days. I make all my levels and shit the night before, and then I decide if I want to short or long them. And then during the day, I just sit here now. That's why I'm doing these live streams, because I've got nothing else to do. I'm just sitting here. All the work for me is done the night before. Bal, where are you? Are you in Canada? Are you in Surrey? Don't lie. Are you in Surrey, Brampton, or where are all the Indians in America? Ohio? There's a bunch of Indians in Ohio. Dayton. I'm in BC. I'm in Vancouver. Look at this thing just sell off. Surrey. I'm in Vancouver. No surprise. All my cousins are in Surrey. My bubba does here. Maybe you actually, if you talk to your dad or your bubba, they probably know him. I wouldn't be surprised. Let me how do I hold on? Let me share my that's me, right? But my bubba. Okay. Yeah, that's my bubba. He does the bowl stuff. He makes bowls for the BC Children's Hospital. That's funny here in Surrey. Whenever I see an Indian, I go, okay, are you in Brampton, Surrey, Dayton, Ohio, or Dayton, whatever it is? Mississauga, yeah, Mississauga. I'm like 90% sure that's how Cloudy trades now. I mean, why even bother doing anything different? It's kind of what it like. I have to still keep seeing how this works, but blindly hitting my levels. I've been running tests. Blindly hitting my levels had something like a 58% win rate or something, or 53. I don't know. It was in the 50s. Um, but when I combined that with the plan that I make pre-market or the night before, the win rate goes up to something like 80%. It's like really high. So now I'm actually testing out day to day, and so far it's done quite well. Yeah, so markets change, but the way I trade using market structure, it doesn't really matter what the market's kind of doing. Yeah, and I can assure you, Cloudy's a little workaholic. Cloudy doesn't stop working unless it's for some what is it, Cloudy? What do you drink? Whiskey? Unless it's on a whiskey at night on a Saturday. Other than that, he's always working. Because here's the thing: until the concept of levels stop working. Hold on, let me just. A lot of my levels are based off of structural levels. So I look at a low of the week or a high of the week or a value area or this or that, right? So I'm looking at structural levels, which give me zones of interest. And then I see how that zone tended to do the day prior. And then I come up with a very precise level. And then I'm using just market structure. And market structure is something that hasn't changed in literally 100 years. Neither has the way markets worked, like how they function in general, hasn't changed in 100 years. And there's been quite a bit of updates to technology during that time. So, to me, the method should just work. People losing the edge because they are not operating on years of data. Yeah. Like, if you're going to take a very data driven approach like Cloudy, then you have to look back to a ton of data. My benefit in that I don't really look at data per se is that I'm using market structure, which, if you want to call it data, it's based off how the market has operated for like 100 years, right? Like, you'll look at the same things I kind of talk about, and you can go look at a market from way back. It'll just be a little. The benefit nowadays, some people hate it. I love it. The benefit nowadays is that a lot of the times things work within a tick. It's different if you are running a strategy that's like, oh, when it breaks the top of the 1 minute candle, I set a stop at -2 points and a take profit at 2.5 points and blah, blah, blah. Because that's going to, like, that strategy is only going to work if there's enough volume, if the VIX is trading at a certain amount, if we're in a bull market, a bear market, if on the day we're on a bullish day or a bearish day, right? And all of those things, if we're on the bearish day, bullish day, this or that, all of those things are going to depend on the market structure. That's why market structure is king. Data matters. Data definitely matters. If you're going to choose a data-driven approach, my approach is just not that data. It's mildly. There is some data. Like, everyone uses something. Like, if you want to call weekly value areas data, then yeah, sure, I guess I'm using data and volume profiles data. I wouldn't really call that data. To me, that's just, yeah, whatever. Those are just some structural levels. Yeah, sort of. Yeah. It, like, data will sort of matter in that, like, you should have an idea as to how much your average MAE is per trade, right? You should have an idea how long your runners go for, stuff like that. Like, you should have ideas of your own personal trades, how they do. But, like, the problem is once you start running, and so I've seen Cloudy do it. There was another guy named Bowser. He does it. I've seen a number of people do it, and there's another person who we won't name who has turned into quite a poor trader. Uh, if you do go down the more algorithmic side of things, there are so many freaking details that you have to do, and you have to constantly be updating them, and it's a major pain in the butt. People think it's really easy. People think, "Oh, I've got an algorithm. Like, I'm done. I'm set for life." It's the opposite. It's the exact opposite. If you have an algorithm, it's tough. It is really tough. If you read Market Wizards, it might have been the latest one. I can't remember, but there's a guy in there who talks about exactly, yeah, what Cloudy just said about structural levels and you backtest and blah blah blah. That's pretty much what I found. Oh, really? Oh, fuck. Yikes. Yikes. Oh well, we don't have to talk about them. Uh, I think his name's John Netto is the algorithmic trader in Market Wizards. It might be John Netto. I can't remember. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. Anyway, there's a guy in Market Wizards, the latest Market Wizards book, who uses algorithmic trading, and he said something like, "Oh, in backtest it shows like let's say a 90% win rate. In reality, it's like a 70% win rate, and then further to that reality, he's constantly having to update it. It's really tough to run it. That's why for most people, Cloudy's lucky in that he has access to a data engineer, right? So he can run back testing really well, and he can extrapolate the data really really well. For most people, it's going to be a waste. For most people, creating an algorithmic strategy is going to be such a crapshoot. It's not even worth it. Is Renaissance. I forgot JPow's on it too. Yikes. I got all my data certifications. Now I can do things. Hey, nice. How funny! I really want you to see how does E period do for your trades, Cloudy. I think it'd be so funny if it's also like, oh, all my other trades have like a 70% win rate, and E period has a 20%. when I was so what I'm referring to is like for my own back testing I did, I've got like 58%, 65%. One of the periods is like 70%. Like they're all doing pretty well. E period had like a 20% win rate. Oh, okay. See you later, TW. Yeah. Check out JJ's room. I think it's worthwhile. I think it's great. It's literally, if you look at my back testing, it's like 58%, 50, 58%, 71%. E period, 17%. F period, 67%. It's like so comically terrible. That's so funny. The Madoff thing's hilarious. I can't believe that was a thing. Absolutely comical. Let's see how this 3675 is going to do. Ooh, falling heavy into it. Cloudy, do you think Tricky would give me his indicator? His little volume thing he looks at? That thing's so neat. I thought he was some douchebag originally. I look at his Twitter. He's got a fake name. It's a gym selfie. I was like, this guy is just a fucking jackass, probably. When I started reading his stuff, I'm like, oh, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. Well, okay, we're almost at my level. I've got so many equity alerts going off. It's hilarious. I look at a week like this, and I go to myself. I think, oh my god, it's end of quarter next week. We're trading like 50 points from the low of the year. How am I supposed to make a weekly plan? Let's see how it does to the upside. Oh, we're down 2.5%. Uh, when do the circuits hit? 5%? Oh, S&P circuit breakers. Oh no, much more. 7%. Yeah, we gotta really crap out to crap out. 'It's funny, Cloudy. Nowadays, I really hear people talking about the Euro hours a lot more. I see Horace posting about it. I see a bunch of people talking about it these days. 76. Come on, give me one more point. The Twitter Furu industrial complex runs to share for cloud. Ah. Ah. Oh God, I just want to see how this plays out. I'm tired. What's the VIX at? Almost at 30. That's nice.